Will you or will you not implement court orders?
If we didn't think courts were politicized, then I would probably be able to answer that.
That's not a yes. The new DHS Secretary sat before Congress for the first time. Senators asked about killings, court orders, body cameras, and disaster relief. He had an answer for none of it. Markwayne Mullin took over a department already under fire. His predecessor had made public statements about 2 immigrant killings that turned out to be false. Federal judges had cited the agency for violating 96 court orders in a single state. This was his chance to turn the page. He didn't. Senator Van Hollen started by reading a DHS press release from January, before Mullin took office.
It says that a person named Julio Sosa Silas violently assaulted a DHS agent. I want former Secretary Noem. She said, quote, "What we saw last night in Minneapolis was an attempted murder of federal law enforcement. Our officer was ambushed and attacked by 3 individuals who beat him with snow shovels and the handles of brooms. Fearing for his life, the officer fired a defensive shot," unquote. That's an untrue statement, isn't it, Mr. Secretary?
What we have been briefed on, yes.
Yeah. And it came to light because the city of Minneapolis had a camera system, and state authorities from Hennepin County have pursued the investigation and recently arrested this officer. Are you aware of that?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
The officer who DHS said was a victim was arrested for the shooting. Then Van Hollen moved to the next case.
Secretary Noem said that he was engaged in an act of domestic terrorism. She said that it looked like Alex Preddy intended to, quote, "inflict maximum damage and to kill law enforcement," unquote. That wasn't true either, was it?
I can't speak on her behalf, but it's not what I recall seeing.
You agree the facts don't support that statement?
Well, I didn't make the statement.
I didn't say you did. I asked you whether you understand that the facts don't support this.
The investigation would say that's probably not accurate.
Yeah, okay.
2 killings, 2 false statements from his own department. He couldn't deny either one. If the department got it wrong on the killings, the next question was obvious. What's changed?
Consequences. A family heading home from a basketball game that was tear gassed. A priest in Chicago shot in the head and body with pepper balls. An American citizen dragged out of the house in the freezing cold in his underwear. Renee Good, Alex Preddy, others murdered in broad daylight.
She asked what reforms the secretary had made. Body cameras, training standards, warrants.
What are your current training requirements for agents?
I want to remind the senator that I was part of negotiating those reforms, and I think you're aware of that. So I actually know what happened during those.
I know you were not in the room, but I do know you were aware of them.
No, I was very involved in it.
But you were not in the
back
room.
and forth. No, I was very involved.
I was in the room. You were not in the room.
The fact is you guys walked away because you had primary election reconciliation because you was never going to get to yes between Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, and you know that to be a fact. And you can't.
She asked about training. He talked about primaries.
Whether or not every officer and agent in the field is now wearing a body camera in writing so we can see what your protocols are.
We don't have the money for all the cameras. We had it in the funding bill, but since you guys decided not to vote for it, we don't have the money to put it on all of our officers. But if you remember...
The department that just got $115 billion can't afford cameras. No answers on killings, no cameras, no reforms. Then Murphy asked the question that defined the hearing.
ICE is not a law unto itself. ICE has violated nearly 100 court orders. This list should give pause to anyone, no matter his or her political beliefs, who cares about the rule of law. ICE has likely violated more court orders in January 2026 than some federal agencies have violated in their entire existence.
That's not Murphy talking. He's reading from a Republican-appointed federal judge.
Now that you are on the job, can you commit to us that if a court judges something ICE is doing, something DHS is doing as illegal or unconstitutional, tells you to stop, that you will comply with the court order?
We will never break the Constitution, and we're not going to break the law, but we're going to enforce our nation's laws.
Will you or will you not implement court orders?
If we didn't think courts were politicized, then I would probably be able to answer that. But we see courts over and over again that use their bench for their political opinion.
Murphy came back in the second round.
If Republican administrations don't implement court orders that they believe to be politicized, then Democratic administrations will not implement court orders that they believe to be politicized.
And that's exactly what the Biden administration did too.
But do you see that as a desirable result?
And what I made it very clear is that we're going to enforce the law and never break the Constitution.
He said it 3 times. He never once said yes. Courts, killings, cameras. Then came one more question about who gets help when disaster strikes.
And no administration should ever limit or deny disaster survivors aid because of their personal politics or because they live in a state that happens to be either Democratic or Republican. I even co-sponsored a Republican amendment that would prevent political affiliation from being considered by FEMA. So President Trump has approved nearly 90% of disaster requests from red states, but only 23% from blue states, even when the request met the FEMA established threshold for federal assistance.
Yeah, Senator Peters, that's not my experience with the president. As I said, we've had 37 states approved for public assistance disaster.
This chart, I think, speaks volumes. So I would like to have further discussion with you.
I do agree that it shouldn't be politicized.
He agreed it shouldn't be politicized. The chart said it already was. His predecessor lied about 2 killings. He admitted it. They asked for body cameras. He said there's no money. They asked about disaster relief. The numbers didn't add up.
I take it with great pride to be Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. And I'm surrounded with great men and women every single day I walk into that office. Regardless of what you say or some other people say, we're doing a great job. And we have a zero-fail mission, and we take that to heart every day.
He calls it a zero-fail mission. But what we actually saw today was a DHS secretary who blatantly refused to commit to following court orders, blamed Democrats for his own department's lack of transparency, and defended a politicized disaster relief system. Subscribe